So the other day I got in the comment section that that my videos are boring and they're there to see farming. They want to see farming. Well, I don't know how to describe farming for people that don't know what farming is. Farming isn't just waking up in the morning, getting on a tractor and riding around a field all damn day. Right, Will? Right, Daddy? Say right, Daddy? So anyway, sometimes farming is just bullshitting while you're riding around a tractor. Sometimes it's explaining, but for the most part, farming is 95% preparation, and the other 5% is actually getting on a tractor and harvesting or planting your crop. The other 95% of the time, you're wrenching, maintaining, planning, selling, buying, breaking, and all that other stuff. So I don't know why you're watching my channel. If you find it to be boring, you can just quit now. But anyways, right now we're gonna do something interesting and exciting. Me and William are gonna walk down here. Now this is, what the hell is this? Oh, I know what that is. I'm gonna have to pick that up on my way out of here. That's just an old dog bed. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is me and William are walking down here out in the field, and I'm going to dig up with my knife some seed corn. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because it's been in the ground here for a few days. Well, come on over here, we're gonna dig up some seed, and I want to be out kind of in a random area. Normally when I dig seed, it's up there. But years ago, there was a huge lime pile out there, and I had all of my compost was out there as well. So I kind of want to go to an area where it's just spread normal. And we're going to go ahead. I'm going to set the camera down here in the row, right? And we're going to get down on my hands and knees. And I'm gonna just kind of gently, well, wait a minute. You know what, I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna do this as we go. All right, so my seed placement, oh, look at that. Can you believe that? There it is. My seed placement is 5.5 inches apart. The seed is at the tip of the knife, and I placed it 2 1/4 inches deep. And this was 2 days ago. Day before yesterday, I planted this guy. And there it is. She's germinated. She's germinated. Look at that guy. Okay. So we'll poke her back down in there. It probably won't be viable anymore. And we'll go to about here. And we'll do it again. And I'm hoping, I actually thought that this would be just slightly farther along than that. Where are you, you little stinker? I mean, it's always a pain in the ass to dig these up. I don't know why, but they're just always a pain in the ass. You can dig and dig and dig and not find them. And then sometimes you can just dig and they're there, you know, like right there. That's pretty deep. And for some reason I can't find this next seed. And it's not that it isn't in the ground, because it is here someplace. It's just in a ball of dirt somewhere. And I'm probably digging. Anybody that's dug seed corn up knows. Oh, there he is. Ooh, this one's a little deeper than I'd like. They just get a little off kilter. So yeah, they've sprouted. This guy here is just starting to sprout out. So like I said, the ground is cold. Plenty of moisture there to bring them up. William, where did you go? That darn kid, he is just as quick as lightning, isn't he? Well, I bet he's on that tractor, because that's where he goes. You can't get in too much trouble out here. So anyways, the seed is sprouting. We get cold nights. Next week is supposed to be like 90 degrees. And yeah. So here's something I hate to see. Look at that. I got seed laying on the ground here. Why do I have seed laying on the ground here? Looks to me like I hit something like a rock or something and that seed bounced out. Why is there seed on the ground? There's seed here too. That shouldn't be. There's seed there. What's going on with this corn planter? Yeah, I must have hit a rock and it did its thing, because just in that spot. And yes, just like I thought. Okay, so I'm going to do something very boring that bores the shit out of people, but for the first time in ever, you know, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to explain very quickly as to what is going on here. I have corn in the ground, lots and lots of corn in the ground. I have 120 acres of corn to plant yet, 115, 120 acres of corn to plant yet. I will do that tomorrow. My ground is still wet, so if you're out in areas that are drought stricken, I'd rather have a little drought. So anyhow, with that being said, I got to the field today, and the corn, I'm late spraying. I had a product that needed to be delivered before I can put my herbicide on, and it wasn't getting delivered, and we had a couple of warm days, and that corn is about 1/4 of an inch from peeking through. So tomorrow morning when I come over to the field over here, more than likely I'm going to have corn peeking through the ground, because it does grow overnight. It stores energy during the day, grows at night. It's just the way it is. So anyway, with that being said, I have got to get this stuff sprayed. I would be done spraying, but I broke my sprayer. And, you know, that shit happens. I hit a rock. And when I hit a rock, it crushed the hose. When it crushed the hose, it caused a leak. It caused a leak, it dumps my shit. But it was only the fresh water tank that it crushed the hose on. But it did break the hose that goes to the return line at the top of the tank. It just broke it, so it was leaking. Not to the point where it was going to cause any kind of a hazardous spill, but it was just at the point where I needed to fix it. So I had to fix that. So I fixed that. Cody welded my frame back together, which was broken. When I hit the rock, I guess it just made a hell of a tear in the frame. So he just spent the last, I don't know, hour and so many minutes doing that. And I got some spandex mafia jerk that's going to stay just slower than I'm going. So I get to pass him in the middle of town because he can't change gears. So, but anyway, with that being said, I will pass that idiot, and he can just stay over there. And I think Mr. John the Legend, he called him a cock and a cock suit, and I could call him a cock and a cock suit too, because that's what they are. Cocky little fuckers who ride bicycles wearing spandex. That's their cock suit. So, and you can see their cock. But anyways, I guess that's not PG rated for YouTube. But anyhow, for the last 3 minutes I've been flapping my gum. So I got it welded. Oh, and the thing, the pressure line that comes out of the pump, that thing, it was leaking. All of a sudden I got all this stuff leaking. Now that could have caused a hazardous spill. So I shut everything down. I flipped everything to my clean water tank, which my clean water tank was leaking, but it didn't matter because it wasn't allowing any herbicide to come out on the ground, and I was sweating bullets because if some do-gooder saw a chemical applicator going down the road leaking some kind of foreign matter onto the roadway, they could have called, you know, the fire department, and they'd have showed up at the house, and I would have had to explain, hey, it was fresh clean water hose because we actually broke this in the field, and I shut it off, and it was actually just clean, fresh water that you could almost drink if you were desperate to drink something, and that's what was leaking on the road. But I didn't have to deal with that. I got it shut down. Everything's okay, and now I'm going back to the field because this stuff has to go on before that sun goes down. That big ball of fire in the sky, I've got about an hour and a half. I will get it all done, but I will not get done what I really wanted to get done today, which was everything that I have in the ground so far. So first thing tomorrow morning at about 5 o'clock, I'm going to wake my fat ass up, get out of bed. I'm going to eat my Activia yogurt, and that's what I take in the morning, and a cup of coffee, because I have acid reflux disease, and I really hate that. So I've been taking this stuff, and it's making my stomach feel just fantabulous. Don't eat potatoes. Potatoes give you that stuff. So anyways, I guess I'm done flapping my gums for now. Hope you've enjoyed this part of it. I'm going to stick your asses onto something outside there where you can actually see this sprayer put down the herbicide that I am using. Thank you. See you in a bit. Go. It is go. Okay, so me and William are here. I'm fighting this GPS. I don't have an auto steer on this. Maybe if this corn does well, I'll go ahead and splurge and get a different system. I guess I could get the globe for these tractors and just hook it up. It does have, you know, it's all set up for it. From the 78 Ken right to right on down to whatever. It's Green Star ready. So anyway, yeah, we're at the last field. In the last field, we've got 300 acres of corn in the ground. In 3 days, well, we did about 100 acres a day. That's all. I'm not going to the races. Like right now, we're in an area that's a little stony, so I'm down to 5 miles an hour. I'd rather be going 6, just because 6 miles an hour, those down out of the stony area, I'll pick it up. 6 miles an hour, the precision meters actually work really well. They do. They work really, really well. But tomorrow I will spray this, and then I still have to finish up a little bit of fertilizer on hay, and then I'm ready for North Carolina. Just get equipment ready to go. First load of equipment goes out tomorrow. Stack wagon and the 8530, I believe, are going to be the first ones to get out the door, and then we'll just move it on from there. Stack wagon 8530, and 7810 in a baler. Then maybe the 6210R in a baler. I don't know. This tractor and another stack wagon. It doesn't matter. We'll just get this stuff on here, get it out the door. We're getting ready to go down there because the wheat is 2 weeks away from being ready to harvest. Little concerned with the. I'm a little concerned with the. What do you call it? Hey, Will, you're gonna get your head hit. You don't want your head hit. Are you tired again? A little concerned with the quality or the quantity of the wheat that's going to be down there. It's going to be less straw than last year, and you know, but I think they're equalizing some of the farmers that had poor wheat have come up in quantity, same acreage, more quantity on those. Some of the guys that had really good quality wheat straw are going to have lesser quality, so I'm pretty sure we're going to be okay as far as tonnage that we produce. Been in talks with the company about hauling the straw up from North Carolina. I have a driver that is willing to do it. Going to get a new truck. Not the Peterbilt. Not the old Vision. The old Vision will probably, I'll sell it. I'll sell the old Vision, I guess. I'll probably just go out and buy a brand new Mack. Brand new Mack truck. 505 horsepower, I guess, or 445. I haven't decided. Whichever one is the cheapest or the most efficient on fuel. It's flat land, so it's not like it's going to be a lot of hills where I need 500 horsepower. I mean, 445 is more than enough. The Vision is 427, so it'd be very comfortable. Of course, it'll have the government juice and all that shit on it, but that's okay, because it'll have the M shift. And that's a really good transmission system, or shifting system, so that'll be alright. The reason I'm going to do that is because if I make, you know, $400 or $500 per load after all the expenses are out, that's $400 or $500 that goes into my pocket, and it adds another $1,500, depending on how he does his job, whether he just goes and hauls straw all week, or whether he goes with a load of hay down, drops off the hay, goes down, picks up the load of straw, brings the straw, or goes to sleep, brings the straw to the mushroom barn, comes home, drops the truck and trailer off, I load it up, and then he spends the night with his wife and daughter, and then off he goes. So he's one night a week, or one night every other day down there, you know, and he can do whatever he wants. I mean, that's entirely up to him. As long as there's enough money coming in to pay the truck, to pay the insurance, to pay all the other fun stuff, then life should be good. Should be good. And everybody's happy. You got to be happy. And what I'll do is I'll pick up the pace on hauling the hay down as it goes. The straw will get hauled up, and the hay will get hauled down, and I will run the Peterbilt, and I'll pick up loads of compost. And that's the plan, to just take loads of hay down, bring compost up. Loads of hay down, compost up, and just have this perpetual amount of hay and straw coming up and down south and from up and down. So that's just the plan. That's just the plan. I just got to make sure everybody's on board and the money is able to be secured and everything's good. And, dealing with drivers and another business is kind of hokey, but we're going to do it anyway. And I'm sure if I run short on a driver, then drivers are drivers, and I'm sure there's a couple of guys out there who are more than willing to jump on board to make some decent money. And it is good money for the driver, just so you know. It's not cheap. Hauling, as long as you got a quality driver, you'll have quality work. Anyway, I guess I'm not even going to post pictures or a video of me planting. I don't think it's worth a bother. Everybody's seen everybody plant, and I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just out here doing my job. Putting herbicide down tomorrow on this. I do have some secret sauce, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a game changer for this ground, that's for sure. I will not be disclosing what that is. No, I won't. It's old, I will tell you that, and I know that it works because I've been in contact with an agronomist over it. And when you have an agronomist that says, hey, you know what, if you do this, you will increase your yields on the same amount of money put in, and it'll improve your soil health, which is really what I'm looking for, is soil health in good bugs, not bad bugs. I think somebody misconstrued what I said the other day about killing bugs and butterflies and stuff. You have good bugs and bad bugs. Bad bugs eat your seed and gnaw at your roots. Good bugs aerate the soil and actually eat the bad bugs. And other bugs like microorganisms that are needed to break down organic matter that I put in this soil, or what is here in this soil. This ground has been loaded with organic matter because it's been hay for 20 years. Unfortunately, hay and weeds, and it's that root mass that's down there, or was down there, is now mixed into the soil, is now an organic matter that needs to be broke down and to be utilized by the plant. And if you've ever noticed, when you take the ground that's been pretty much fallow for many years, which this particular field that I'm in, you take a field that's been fallow for a long time and put it into another crop like corn or soybeans, you do extraordinarily well for 1 year, and then it's back to the grind again on normal stuff. But I'm pretty happy with the way things have turned out here so far. I forced it to dry. This ground is traditionally very wet, but I forced it to dry. And you probably wonder what I'm talking about, but we definitely worked the ground, and we're going to force it to stay moist down there by roller harrowing it, or color mulching, or crumble mulcher, which is what I use, the Brilliant Crumble Mulcher. That particular piece of equipment, it was made in 1960s, I believe. Still every part available for it because they just don't change much. I made 1 million of them. And when you crumble that, and that's why vertical tillage machines with them rolling baskets work so well, because they just knock the dirt off, knock everything down, and make a nice seed bed. And the moisture will stay down there. If you got all these balls and clumps and crap like that, that creates air pockets down below, which will dry out your roots and just have different issues with it. And because we're headed into a dry spell, or we're actually in a dry spell, There's no rain on the forecast for 10 days, but I'm not worried. The only thing I'm worried about in the rain in the forecast is the fact that I'm putting down this fertilizer, or this herbicide, and it is going to sit on top of the ground here until we actually get some rain to get it down in the ground. But, you know, it is what it is, and the type of herbicide that I am using, I'm not too worried about it deteriorating or blowing away. So we'll see what happens there. Oops, that's a little off my line. Well, anyway, I hope I bored you for 10 minutes. See you on the flip side.